Hey everyone, Therese here with your karma card reading for the week of December 30th through January 4th, 2020. So if you've never done karma cards before, this is how we do it. You get to play along with me. So I have 3 decks here. I have the planets, the signs of the zodiac, and the houses of astrology. And I call in my team in spirit and ask them what message do they have for us at this time. And I draw a card from each deck and I get 2 sets of answers. Now how you play is you need to decide whether you want an action related answer or an outcome related answer. And just use that intuition, feel in right now, and I will give you the flavor of this reading while you're deciding. So the particular flavor of this reading is the planet Uranus in the sign of Scorpio in the first house. Now before I get into the cards, let me tell you about what's going on in the sky right now as I am recording this. We have another Earth trine happening in the sky. We've got the Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter all meeting up in the sign of Capricorn, trining with the planet Uranus in Taurus. So both of those are earth signs, and with this trine to Uranus, now Uranus is the planet I like to call the plot twist planet. It's full of surprises, unexpected changes, visionary thinking, thinking outside the box. That's Uranus right there. And it's unpredictable and erratic, so you never know what kind of surprise it's going to be. With the Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter all together in Capricorn trining Uranus, this means it's a positive aspect. A trine is one of the most positive, I think it is the most positive aspect you can get between planets. So they are flowing into each other. The Sun is talking about our individuality, the way that we are expressing ourselves, the way we're seen in the world, right? And Mercury is all about how we're thinking and communicating, and Jupiter is where we expand. So there's a lot of emphasis right now on genius level thinking and feeling like you can actually carry these ideas through. And Jupiter is here to support that, to expand it for not only what's good for you, but how it's good for everyone, how it's affecting everyone. So this is a time of big ahas, and I think it's kind of beautiful how it's happening right here at the end of 2019 before we get into 2020. All of these beautiful big ideas about how you can move forward into the next decade. It's right here to take advantage of. So this is a great time to journal. It's a great time to create. It's a great time to sit down and contemplate on your goals moving forward, what you want to do. And a great way to do that is to really get in touch with your heart, putting your hand on your heart and asking yourself, not logically, what's the next thing I should do, but what feels good. This is a great time to tap into that. That's when all that genius activity comes up for each of us. So let me go over this again. The flavor is Uranus in the sign of Scorpio, right? Scorpio being all about deep psychic connection, connecting to the subconscious mind. It's about transformation. Scorpio is the sign of transformation in the first house of self. So this really is about surprising transformations in yourself. For those who are choosing action-related answers, here are your actions. Your spiritual action at this time is to stir up the situation using the extraordinary power of prayer immediately. Okay, let me interpret that for you. So if this is your first time listening to Karma Cards, some of the answers, that one's actually pretty straightforward. Some of them get pretty esoteric and out there, and I like to kind of break them down. So the spiritual action, again, is to stir up the situation by using the extraordinary power of prayer immediately. I love this. So prayer is the asking. And that's another way to hear it. If the word prayer blocks you, if you can't quite get there, prayer is asking internally, asking your higher power, asking your higher self for what you need. And then meditation and contemplation is the receiving. So it is saying to tap into the internal asking right now. and that it's the perfect time to do it right here, poised at the beginning of not only a new year, but a new decade. A new cycle is about to begin. So tap into the power of asking now. Get into a prayer. Get into the habit of asking regularly. And I felt this call before I got these cards, and I've started doing it myself. It just feels so good. I actually do it backwards. I like to meditate first. I like to really get into a clear and centered headspace, and then I go into the meditation, and then I sit and contemplate. Just let whatever comes back come back, because your higher self, your source energy, whatever it is you feel connected to, is already responding to you as you are asking. So that's my formula. Meditate, pray, contemplate. All right, the mental action at this time is to be open to new ideas about the highest and lowest aspects of the way you project yourself. I love that. I'll say it again. Mental action. Be open to new ideas about, that's Uranus, right? New. The highest and lowest aspects of the way you project yourself. Now, this is something that I talk about in my book, Confidence is Magic, is you need to get in touch with every aspect of yourself. No aspect of you should be left out, right? So that which you already love and embrace about yourself, calling it in. Also considering those parts of yourself that you want to keep secret, hidden, or straight out reject, you need to call those in as well. All of you is needed. So until we call all of ourselves back to us, we're not playing with the full deck, or we're not playing with full power. We are only, as much of yourself as you accept is how much personal vitality, power source, like a battery source that you have. So if you only accept aspects of yourself and reject the rest, you're not playing with a full battery. You don't have all of your vital energy. And this is to be open to that. Be open to receiving all parts of yourself. It's time to integrate, bring it in. All right, physical action at this time. Invent a new way to control the situation and do it on your own. I'll read that again. Physical action. Invent a new way to control the situation and do it on your own. Now, the control the situation, that comes from Scorpio. That's a little bit dramatic there. And when it comes to the idea of control, this is something I want to talk more and more about as we talk about getting in touch with our intuition and our own personal ascension journey. We need to recognize that the only thing we truly have control over is ourselves. You only have control over yourself. So it's looking at how you view control and how you can redirect that energy. So I like to think of control like I think of how a camera lens works. Okay, so a camera lens can only focus on one subject at a time. It can either focus on the foreground, which is the subject, or it can focus on the background. What happens when the camera focuses on one point or another? If it focuses on the subject, the background goes blurry. If it focuses on the background, the foreground goes blurry. So you can liken the background and foreground. The foreground in this metaphor is you. What you are is the foreground, the subject. The background is everything else. So when you look at it in terms of control, if you focus on yourself, everything else goes blurry. It means you don't have to control what's going on around you in the outside world, what others are doing. You focus on yourself. When you can stay focused with that idea of I can control how I react, I can control how I perceive it, I can control how I respond to a situation. When you focus in there, you stay in focus, and all the noise around you goes blurry. Whereas if you were trying to control the situation, other people, how they're reacting, what they say, you go out of focus. Make sense? Okay, so those are your action answers. For those choosing outcome, turn the cards upside down. These are the outcomes for the week of December 30th through January 4th. So the spiritual outcome at this time is to stir up the situation by using purification to resurrect who you are. I had it upside down. Okay, let's try this again. Man, some good stuff came through. I'm going to, you know what? F it. I just did a card reading with one of the cards in the wrong direction. And it was so good. Usually I do this. Usually I do this on Facebook and I do it the right way. Good lordy. Let's try this again. So here is take 2. Just for all those watching. Of the outcomes in Uranus in the sign of Scorpio in the first house. Let's try it again. This might make more sense this time. Spiritual outcome, an unusual example of purification to resurrect who you really are. An unusual example means out of the blue. It's not what you're going to expect, what brings you forward. So again, because these are outcomes, this is about what could be happening in the next week here. Is that information or an example of who you really are is about to pop forward, and it has nothing to do with manufacturing it on your part, but rather it's going to be shown to you. And I think that's a beautiful, exciting surprise. So stay open to that. Mental outcome at this time, a different way of looking at the secrets of your desires. Again, by having these sudden plot twists or surprise changes or clandestine visits with people or being introduced to someone you've never been introduced to. There's so many ways that this energy can surprise you. There's no way to predict it. That's the lovely surprise about Uranus. And this is a physical outcome. Again, these signs are in earth energy, which means physical manifestation. So it will be in the external world that you experience this to some degree, which means the messages could come from others. It could come from new information that falls into your lap and you're like, how did this get here? What does this mean? It causes you to open your mind and go, oh my God, what if it is like that? Dun, 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 right? So from these surprising moments, you'll discover a different way of looking at the secrets of who you are and what you desire, right? If you're not constantly in tune with why do I want what I want, this is going to open that up for you. You're going to know why you want what you want. You're maybe even going to allow yourself to want more or different than you've ever wanted before. That's all coming this week. Physical outcome, an unexpected change resulting from the power of your actions. So going back to the action part, the first action was asking, the prayer, right? Ask for what you want. And surprisingly, I think for a lot of people, this is new. This is new to really get into the habit of asking for what you want. I think that, and I'm going to take this from a personal level, I'm very okay with doing the hard work and going and making it. I'm okay with that. Asking for it, that's a part of receiving. That's always kind of one of those things I think that people who are on a spiritual path or do deep spiritual work, we can tend to struggle with it. Giving, easy. Asking, not so easy. But from the asking comes the unexpected change resulting from the power of your actions. And remember, the other action was to incorporate all parts of you. Unexpected changes are coming. So this week is a powerful week. It's a powerful week of surprise, change, revelation, purification, resurrection. That's pretty big stuff. I'm wishing you a magical, powerful, and joyful decade to come. And I'll be with you every week doing karma cards to help guide you along the way. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, subscribe to my channel, Blythe Starlight, and hit that notification bell so that every time I release a new video, you're the first to know. Until next time, stay magical.